Welcome to the last episode of Mid-Range Gaming PC Build, which will be $1,000 gaming PC build. So let's get started. With this build, our goal is to provide the best gaming PC build of 2018 for less than $1,000. It's at this price range that you start needing to make fewer and fewer compromises and can instead focus on excellence. You're now out of the mid-range category and officially in the premium category. This is where you easily max out every title at 1080p. You'll also start pushing for 1440p resolutions and still get a solid 60 FPS by smartly adjusting some in-game settings. This is also where high-end tasks, like streaming and virtual reality, become reasonable possibilities, too. You could do these before but with questionable results. The i5 8400 provides stellar gaming and all-around performance. With this CPU, you won't need to worry about bottlenecking any graphics card you might slap in here for years to come. Thanks to 6 powerful, hyper-threaded cores, allowing a total of 12 threads, you're well equipped to handle pretty much anything. This means higher frame rates in CPU-dependent games, and multi-threaded workloads, like rendering and streaming, shouldn't be a problem, either. The one downside of this CPU is the inability to overclock. Since it isn't a K-series processor, its out-of-the-box performance is still the best you're going to get in this price range. Though, while we couldn't fit an overclocking motherboard or CPU into our budget, we were able to bump up our cooling a little bit. With the MasterLiquid Lite 240 liquid cooler, your PC will make much less noise when running idle or under load, and your CPU will be cooler than ever, allowing it to run at turbo frequencies more frequently. While not quite what you'd get with a proper overclock, this will still offer a significant improvement in your system's overall performance. Without question, this is the heart of our $1,000 gaming PC build. While we had to make some slight compromises to make this possible, we couldn't afford an overclocking compatible setup like we normally do for $1,000 PC builds. These won't actually impact real-world gaming performance significantly enough to justify going without a 1070. This 8GB SSDA RAM stick from Patriot is from a trusted brand, and comes clocked just a little higher than entry-level DDR4 RAM. Truthfully, you probably won't notice an extreme difference based on RAM speed alone, but thanks to the fact that this is actually two 4GB sticks, you can run them in dual channel for a significant boost in memory performance. ADATA makes some pretty solid value SSDs, and the SU800 series is no different. While still operating about as fast as a SATA SSD, the SU800 512GB offers some of the best price per gigabyte that you can find in a modern SSD. With half a terabyte of fast storage, you have more than enough room for your operating system and all of your favorite programs. If you're going to put games on here, we recommend sticking to your favorite multiplayer titles, as those will benefit the most from fast loading times. When it comes to storage, all you really need to do is make sure that you're buying from a trusted brand, Hitachi, Seagate, and you're getting a good value for your money. This 2TB HDD epitomizes that. Just make sure that you do initial OS installation on your SSD and not this one by accident, or you won't be able to utilize the benefits of hybrid storage as intended in this build. Finally, modularity. In case you aren't familiar with modular PSUs, they allow you to only use the cords you need instead of coming preloaded with every possible cord pre-attached. Thanks to rising prices, we weren't able to fit modular PSUs into our cheaper builds without going over budget. Now that we have just a little bit more flex room, we are able to add a semi-modular PSU from Corsair, which will make your building process much cleaner and easier than it would be with a non-modular PSU. This is an entry-level motherboard for Intel's 8000 series processors. This means that you won't be able to overclock on this build, but it was a necessary sacrifice to be able to fit the CPU and GPU inside. Upgrading to an OC-capable motherboard would have added at least $50 $80 by itself depending on quality. Gigabyte's offerings have always been fairly high quality, though, So even though this motherboard is made for a budget gaming PC, you don't need to worry about it failing you. The Rosewill Nautilus is a fully featured case. If you're a fan of LEDs, you may also appreciate the two blue LED intake fans on the front of the chassis. Thanks to its ATX mid-tower form factor, there's room for plenty of storage drives, large GPUs, liquid cooling setups, extra fans. Whatever you want to do with this case, you can do it. Why is this the best $1,000 gaming PC? This is the best gaming performance that you're going to get for under $1,000. While you can continue pushing your budget past this, you will begin to see diminishing returns. Even once you start running 1080 Ti and i7s, you're not looking at massive, real-world performance gains unless you're gaming at 4K. Even then it won't be by much. The only real compromise we had to make for the sake of this build came in the form of overclockability. We wanted to get an i5 8600K, the K series being overclock capable, obviously in here, and pair it with an overclocking compatible motherboard. But if we included those things, we wouldn't have been able to include the GTX 1070. Ultimately, the 1070 offers better gaming performance here, so we decided to sacrifice overclockability for it. What games can this PC run? Fortnite, at 4K and high settings, you should be able to achieve around 30-40 FPS. If you want a stable 60 FPS, you'll definitely need to turn down your settings or your resolution. PUBG is probably the most performance demanding game on this list, so we recommend just playing this one at 1440p and high settings, which should net you a stable 60 FPS. 4K 60 might be possible, but only with very low settings. Monster Hunter World should provide a great experience at 1440p. But 4K simply isn't feasible with this build unless you're making sacrifices to frame rate or performance. League of Legends. This is a lightweight esports title, so running at 4K 60 shouldn't be a problem at all. While Dota 2 isn't made to run on a calculator like League of Legends, that's sarcasm. It still shouldn't be demanding for a build like this and should easily run at 4K 60. Overwatch. While an esports title, this is definitely more demanding than the MOBAs. Expect 40-50 FPS at 4K/Ultra settings, and consider turning down to 1440p for the best experience. Rainbow Six Siege. With its real-time map destruction and high-end graphics engine, you aren't going to be able to keep a stable 4K 60 at high settings with this game. 1440p should be fine, though. Warframe is actually surprisingly light on system resources, so you should be able to achieve at least 100 FPS in 4K and high settings with this PC build. Grand Theft Auto V, 4K 60 isn't happening here unless you turn a lot of things down. But 1440p and high settings should be very easy to achieve. Team Fortress 2, this is more CPU dependent than GPU dependent, and the i5 in this build is overkill for TF2. 4K 60 should be achievable, but due to TF2's engine you may encounter some pretty bad performance hiccups. If you do, you'll want to turn some settings down. That's it from last episode of Mid-Range Gaming PC Builds Season 2. Season 3 with high-end gaming PC builds will be coming soon on the channel. If you like this video then hit thumbs up button, smile. That's it from this video. Hit subscribe and bell icon to get our daily videos and notifications about tech, gaming and tutorials.